Hello, everyone. This is Pharaoh Vincent from Nation 506, and I wanted to do a little bit of a different video today. More speaking in reference to something that I've already completed, but it does tie into power progression statistics. Um, and specifically, I wanted to go through the technology upgrade, but more importantly, like what you should be upgrading first. Naturally, you're going to eventually increase to a place where you have it all, right? Like I've hit the spot where, if you look at my overall statistics, right, that is the maximum technology power that I'm aware of in this game is the 718 548. And there's small little things that you can upgrade here and there that does increase it a little bit more, right? You obviously have your garage. Um, you're going to have your defenses here that I believe do play into it. Of course, I'm upgrading my 33 wall so you can't see it, but the cannons and things like that there. But when it comes to the academy, there's really three main skills that are wildly important that you need to prioritize. And the first one's actually in development, and the highest priority, in my humble opinion, is this skill called first aid. And for whatever reason, they didn't call it first aid 2. They say wounded conversion 2, but first aid and wounded conversion 2 are some of the greatest skills of all time. And the reason being is that is increasing the amount of troops that come home when you go out to attack. Now, at the early stage of the game, when the world's all crazy and everyone's attacking each other, or when you're in a void, this skill increases the amount of troops you have coming home. But that's not the only spot you can get it from, right? You're also going to get wounded conversion from your garage, specifically rescue, and that's another 10%. So right now you have 20%, right? And that's kind of the base you can get from these two sources. But there's a third source, which is in your officers, and more specifically on your strategy officers. You can see here that there is first aid, and both of my strategy officers, Saki and Morgan, have it. And the reason being is that's adding an extra 20%. So that means when I go out to attack and avoid, I get 40% of my troops back every single time I go to attack. The more levels you get on these skills, up to a maximum of 20, and the more levels you get on these officers, up to a maximum of 55, the better that gets. And I've seen people with as high as, I think, like 60-ish, 70%. So most of your soldiers are coming home is a very good thing because that's time saved. It's not so much the resources. I care less about them now at this point in the game. It's the time. It takes a long time to recruit soldiers. I took some bad hits in this last void. I am still recovering, and it's been over a month, right? So not even just this last void like a couple weeks ago. I mean like a month ago. I'm still recovering. I still haven't hit 1.3 million troops again since that void where I started off at 1.3 million. To that degree, though, this actually does get me into the second most important skill that I know of, and that's actually draft. um, your recruitment speed matters more than the amount of troops you recruit. I know this sounds very strange because, obviously expansion sounds great, right? You get an extra 100 troops every single time you recruit, and that's great up until you hit a point in the game where you are recruiting over 24 hours. And once you hit that point, it doesn't matter how many extra soldiers you can recruit because you're never going to see that number. And the reason behind that is, when you get to a high level of play, you're setting your recruitment to 1 day. So the higher your recruitment speed, the better your overall recruitment will be every single day. Recruitment speed is huge. I do highly recommend it because it's going to help you remax your troops faster and recover from those bad hits a little bit quicker. The next thing I would recommend everyone research is leadership. Max fleet size is great for killing zombies. It's great for killing cities. It's just a really good ability to have. Maxing out your leadership is always important. And then I max out whatever mode I've decided to specialize that city in. I'm a long range city, so I did a lot of different long range attacks. Most of my farms are melee cities. Yes, melee. So I max out that melee first. It depends on what it is that you're maxing out, right? But you're going to want to make sure that you pick up your long range ability there. And as any city, the next highest priority, and it doesn't matter if you're melee, mid range, long range, doesn't matter. The next highest priority is going to be your melee hit points, melee defense, wherever that went. There it is. Melee defense, right? These skills are huge because your melee as a long range or mid range player are wildly important. And of course, if you're a melee player, clearly that is what you're prioritizing in general. So, and I'm going to stop it there. I mean, we could talk all day about, okay, well, then I'd go to raid next, which is true, right? You know, oh, fleet speed, it makes that a little bit better. And, oh, but now you need fuel because guess what? If you watch my previous videos, you'll know how much I love to kill zombies. Like, your priority can start to shift from there. These ones are the best to get you immediate power, the best ones to continuously allow you to grow and to build and to become a beast. After that, the rest of these skills you want to level up as you have the ability to. Again, I over prioritize fuel up and monster attack speed because I can't be bothered to wait around for monsters, but I want to kill, 55 to 60 of them a day. So it's just one of those things that you're going to eventually come up with your own method. And then again, you're going to max this out at some point. So when you do, it's going to make doing your daily quests just a little bit harder because I can never get technology research again. I have zero ability to ever get technology research unless they, for some reason, if Camel decides to expand the academy and the garage and the research you can do. Until that happens, I don't get to partake in that part of the game anymore, right? And that's part of why, you really want to make sure that you're focused when you have it. And then once you get to that part where you're starting to get closer to maxing out, go for the weird stuff, right? And I think I'm going to leave the video on one last point, which is don't bother with tax rate. That was the last thing I upgraded. It's the last thing you should upgrade. Honestly, controversial, hot take, don't bother with spelunking. Gold gather speed's not going to help you much because if you're gathering gold in a void or frenzy, you're actually not getting the most points. But I'll make a separate video on that, and I will explain how best to handle voids and frenzies, gather days, phases. So I plan on making videos about that in the future, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about the statistical progression there. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate any feedback in the comments, and hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much.